When I went to look at what the lowest rated adult anime of all time was on Mal, I was surprised that it was this one that looked relatively normal, called Suino Sora. And it only has one episode with 23 minutes in it too. Adult anime tend to get really disgusting, so I thought that this one was really disturbing underneath. But then I actually saw it, and it wasn't disturbing in the slightest. But the reason why it's the lowest rated hentai became extremely understandable. I mean, you're looking at one of the major reasons right now. I don't even have to say it. But if there's anyone who is only listening to the audio of this video, the hentai's fucking ugly as shit! I actually do think that there are hentai out there that should be rated lower because of the disturbing content in them, but I guess they might be well executed for those who do have those extreme fetishes. Do I get it? No. And I don't want to. But with Suino Sora, I actually don't think anyone has a fetish for skipping scenes or looking at another tab during them. Seriously, most of the research I did for this hentai was during the scenes. They were just a pile of nothing. I will go into more detail later. Well, as much detail as I can, and you'll understand what I mean when I get there. But right now, I will say that without this hentai, I would have never possibly known that sex could be more boring than university lectures. This was also based off a porn visual novel, and the people who've played it said that this hentai is a lot tamer. Even though I have never seen anything of that, given how boring the sex was, I think it's safe to say that I agree. Speaking of which, the visual novel and in conjunction, this hentai has one of the stupidest concepts for anything I have ever heard. It's a porno that lectures you on Greek philosophy. Just why? Just why? And let me tell y'all, I'd say that this hentai is the strangest attempt at being smart and thought-provoking I have ever seen, and is probably another reason as to why it's rated so poorly. And also the writing is really bad and makes zero sense, and I didn't know what the fuck happened when I completed it. Being confused doesn't turn people on, I think. But also, according to those who have played this game, they crammed an 80-hour game into a 20-minute story. Brilliant. That just sounds incredible, does it? Well, the story is incredible because the literal first scene of this porno is some exposition about what the fuck happens when we die and if life's eternal or some shit. There's some shit about motes of essence and the circle of metempsychosis, and look, I, as a native English speaker, have never seen the words mote or metempsychosis before, but maybe I'm just stupid or something. And usually I would never point this out, but this is a porno, so obscure words are pretty jarring when the target audience is meant to turn their brains off to watch your shit. You know what's also jarring in a porno? Philosophical debates, which is the thrilling, epic Fate Zero levels of back and forth we receive from green-haired girl and the 40-year-old boy here. And I'm calling him that because he looks like he's 11, but his voice is super deep. This wasn't the only instance of the voice acting being shit in this. Anyway, I guess I was wrong about philosophical gobbledygook being impossible to turn people on with because it turned the 40-year-old boy on here, who proceeds to fuck the green-haired girl. And here's the thing about the scenes that bothered me the most, which is surprising, and it says a lot because there's a lot wrong with the sex in this. It is more of the fan subbers deal though. Why aren't there any subtitles for them? Maybe the talking isn't important. Maybe they knew that this was really shit and couldn't be bothered to spend more time fan subbing it. For the other sex scenes, there are barely any talking, so I guess I understand. But for this one, the 40-year-old boy was blabbing and carrying on in the beginning of it. Come on, I was really curious as to what he was saying. What if it was something really deep again? Like the meaning of life this time? Or if it was something that would add to the plot? Or maybe they didn't add subtitles because they didn't want it to get in the way of the riveting sex. But here's the thing. There's already shit getting in the way of the sex. And that is this giant censor bar that takes up half the fucking screen, as you can see. Yeah, I didn't add that. I only added the censor to the girl's boobies, which is the only private part you can even remotely see during the scenes. All of the girls' boobies go from an A cup with their clothes on to an E cup without them, which I know is the case for a lot of anime, but I always think it's funny. and stupid because I wish it worked that way in real life. Anyway, I know that Japanese law has it so that tentacles have to be censored, which was why the tentacle porn shit became conceived in the first place. But from what I understand, half of the body doesn't need to get censored. According to some reviews I read, there's an uncensored version that is of course bad, and out of curiosity, trust me bro, I went looking for it. And also because any uncensored version would be 10 times less boring than having the entire screen censored. However, I could not find it. I guess it's lost media, but I don't think anyone cares to find it though. I will admit, well, I'm not gonna go out of my way to look for it. I am pretty curious as to why the hell they thought they needed to censor half of their bodies. Like, what were they thinking? Of course this was going to be boring. What made this even more boring was of course its stilted animation that looped every half second, and also the girls' moans were looped every half second too, as if they weren't making me uncomfortable enough. On top of all this, for some reason dramatic music plays like this is a fight scene. Maybe they thought that soundtrack was gonna help this actually be entertaining. Before fucking her, the 30-year-old boy said that he was going to give her a sublime experience. Maybe to convince her to not jump off the roof of the school, but that didn't work because she immediately does it after the sex. I do not blame her, but not before saying some shit about motes of essence again. Of course, fucking hell. And apparently she's also doing this to prevent the end of the world? I don't fucking know. And after watching this whole hentai, I still don't know, because, spoiler alert, but not really because it's obvious, they never ever explain what the fuck she was blubbering on about. So it turns out those weren't the main characters. It's actually these two, Ant Girl and Guy. Okay, maybe calling her Ant Girl would offend this hentai, because she has such a personality that Guy has to exposition dump that she is energetic more than once. Yeah. Thanks for that. The two are friends, even though I thought they were siblings at first. But can you blame me though? First of all, they look the same. Second of all, she is at his house every single morning acting as his human alarm clock. Third of all, this is a hentai. I guess I'm so jaded by the anime bullshit that I immediately jumped to them being siblings when the guy was perving on this girl in what has to be the most bizarre panty shot in human history. Of course, I can't show it because this is YouTube, but it's a low angle shot where she looks like she has the shortest skirt ever, to the point where it shouldn't even be classified as a skirt because the fabric only covers her hips, not her fucking ass. But then her skirt is normal in another perspective. I think it was meant to turn the audience on? Probably? Who knows? Well, that was really bad voice acting. It's like one of those YouTube videos done by kids who want to get loud but are too scared to disturb their parents. So it turned out the girl who jumped off the roof the day before was Ant Girl's friend, and she's understandably sad about that. But Guy is a massive jerk because he tells her to cheer up, but then says that that was an absurd thing to ask? Then why the fuck did you say that in the first place then, cunt? He tells her to cheer up more than once in this shit too, even after that spiel of him saying how stupid that was to say. Maybe it's because you keep going on about this cheer up bullshit. Okay, this next scene made me laugh. I really thought that Guy was gonna bang her in order to cheer her up, but luckily it wasn't that. Instead, Ant Girl went to her extracurricular activity, and this random girl that was never seen before is ogling at her, and then it immediately cuts to her imagining that they're fucking. No build up at all. Well, I guess the stripping was the build-up? Yeah, how erotic, right? Unfortunately though, all I was thinking of was how ugly that scarf thing that the girls have to wear is. What the fuck is that? And who the fuck is this girl? I guess Ant Girl charmed her with her pheromones. I have never seen ants before, and I still haven't, because I didn't see anything! And the censoring for this scene was even worse than the first, because some of the time, 3/4 of the screen would be censored, so I couldn't even comprehend what was happening! On top of that, the sound effects in this scene are also questionable, because they don't sound like vaginas. They sound like plastic sleeves getting rubbed. Okay, I'll actually demonstrate. This is a plastic sleeve, and when they were doing it, it sounded like... After whatever the hell happened there. We are introduced to this pink-haired girl whose sole purpose throughout this hentai was to be a vessel for the writers to exposition dump about the complexities of the stupid world these people live in. She knew about the 40-year-old boy and is linked to the girl who killed herself because he fucked her. How? I don't know. She also spouts the bullshit about metempsychosis again. Fucking stop this, writer. I don't care how intellectual you are. No one knows what that is. And anyone who saw this hentai still doesn't know what that is because it never got explained. She also mentions something about an end sky and we never know what the fuck that is too, even though it seems very important. I mean, it's literally the title of this hentai translated into English. If there's one weird word here that would be the most important to explain, it would have been that one. The next day, it turned out the girl who had a crush on Ant Girl went missing. Guy tells her this, and then we cut to the next scene. And because we cut to this without any warning or build up again, when I first saw this, I thought this was another daydream scene where it was Guy himself thinking thoughts of fucking and torturing these girls. It was only when I rewatched this shit did I learn that this was a meanwhile type of thing and it was the 40-year-old man instead. Whatever, these two kind of look the same. Anyway, the 40-year-old boy has Ant Girl's admirer tied to the ceiling. Also, these random girls are here and are getting whipped by him while they have lesbian sex. The funny thing is that we have never seen these girls before and, spoiler alert, we will never see them ever again. What an important role they played, huh? Well, let me tell y'all something. The role they played was even more pointless than it could have possibly been because the censoring in the scene was worse than the previous two scenes. I have never seen censorship that had growth spurts before. The next day, Ant Girl isn't at Guy's bedside to wake his lazy ass up and give him uncomfortable panty shots like she usually does every morning. So Guy goes to her house, but it turns out she's the next student to go missing. And this mother is so fucking stupid because she knew that her daughter was gone for the entire night and knew that there's apparently something going awry at the school, but she only called the cops at this moment because this high school boy told her to. What the fuck? Although her stupidity isn't surprising because she enrolled her child in a school with this uniform. Guy's only able to find Ant Girl because he runs into the Deus Ex Machina chick who knew where the fuck she could possibly be because she is an omnipotent, omnipresent god or something. Okay, I'm gonna be really quick with this ending because it's all I can possibly do for it. Because I didn't know what the fuck was happening and why, really. It turns out her admirer was Ant Girl while getting whipped by the 40-year-old boy. And then Guy saves her by beating him up and then he spouts some dribble about End Sky again. And then Green Girl came back as a ghost and scares him by spouting confusing dribble back at him, giving him a taste of his own medicine. Yeah, you don't like it when other people do it to you, do you? His confusion causes him to tweak out, I guess. So Guy and Ant Girl leave him to do that. And then Ant Girl confesses her feelings for Guy, I think. And I'm only saying that she confessed her feelings because this review from someone who played the game said that she did. So I assumed that it was made more clear in the game. But here, it seemed clear to me that she was offering sex as a reward for him saving her, which sends a pretty bad message that men should only help women in order to receive sex from them. What the fuck am I saying? Who watches hentai for life advice? Anyway, yeah, the two have sex and I of course can't see anything and I'm extremely bored and just looking at the reviews for this thing instead. Then the hentai ends. What the fuck was that? So this is the synopsis on MyAnimeList, which is supposedly what we just watched. After the sudden death of a student, mysterious things start to happen and a school seemingly falls into madness. A school seemingly falls into madness? Only like 5 people got affected by the mystery. And what was the mystery that made everyone mad? Well, it shouldn't have even been considered a mystery because it can just be explained by science. They're a bunch of horny teenagers. To be fair though, puberty does make people go mad, but I think that the mystery was supposed to be supernatural. I wanted the reviews I read to help me grasp what the fuck I just watched, but everyone was just as clueless as I was. According to those who have played the visual novel, reading that would make this hentai make more sense. And if you read said visual novel, or just looked up info about it online while during the scenes, you'd know that the 40-year-old boy formed a religious cult because of a conspiracy or something, which is what those scenes with the whipping was about. I didn't get the impression that this was a cult though. The impression I got is that, you know what? I didn't get any impression. I felt nothing. But do you see what I mean? I absolutely hate it when another piece of media is a requirement in order to comprehend what is supposed to be a standalone story. To me, anything that does that is an incompetent failure. Because when I'm watching something, the key to having the slightest bit of enjoyment is to actually comprehend what the fuck is going on. Being confused isn't that fun. However, in this case, this was actually hilarious, which is why I don't actually think this is the worst hentai in the universe. Yes, in terms of animation and art, this is the bottom of the barrel, maybe. Emphasis on the maybe because I swear to God, I haven't seen every single hentai ever, okay? But there are hentais that are a lot more disgusting and have a lot more horrific subject matters that aren't remotely funny. I'll take boring scenes over them any day. For reference, I would rather watch this on a 20 times loop than Urotsukidoji even one more time. Okay, that's how much I hated that shit. And as an added bonus, Tsuno Sora is very short, only 23 minutes. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this far. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up, use your thumbs to leave a comment down below, and use your thumbs to subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye!